Do you ever wonder why you lose the ball a lot, especially when you're under pressure? In the game, you feel like it's a 2v1 against you in favour of the other team. In this short video, I'm going to teach you one of the best footballing secrets on how you can fix this. And all of a sudden, you can turn it from a 2v1 against to all of a sudden make you feel like you're doing in a 3v1 or a 4v1 in your favour. Guys, this video is one of the best videos we've done and we hope you enjoy it. So this is one touch, scan and move. And any questions that you've got, remember you can drop them into the comments here if you're watching it live on YouTube. Or if you're watching this as a recording, you can drop it into the community with Inside School. So remember, community, you can write something and you can drop it in here. And you can tag me by typing my name at Raymond Wood. And I will get notified that you've put a question in there. Okay, so that's the best way to do. So remember, classroom, section 10, the dugout, and then one touch, scan and move. I hope you enjoy the short video.
Movement off the ball, we want players on the toes ready to receive the ball. When they receive the ball, we want a good firm touch and play it back in. Then we're looking for players to scan over both shoulders, receive the ball, attack space, receive again, and change direction and speed. Well done.
Okay, so we'll play that one through once more. I'll let you watch it once more.
The ball, we want players on the toes ready to receive the ball. When they receive the ball, we want a good firm touch and play it back in. Then we're looking for players to scan over both shoulders, receive the ball, attack space, receive again, and change direction and speed. Well done.
Okay, so that's a good little short one, and that's a session that you can work with players. You could work with one player, you could work with maybe two players, probably three at a maximum, depending on how you could go, but you need to make sure your interchanges are quick. But I'll just load up my screen here for you so everyone can see it. So hopefully you can see my screen now. There we go. So we had the coach positioned just there, and the coach has got all the balls ready to play. Now there's a couple of key things that we need to really have a little look at in this particular session, and some of the things that we need to just consider. But I just want to think about when you're setting this up as a coach, whether you're working with your son or daughter, whether you're working with a player privately and you're doing private one-on-one sessions. A great little way to set this up, and don't think that you need, in these sections here where they had the mini goals, okay, and here, don't think that you need to have really expensive $400 or $500 goals. If you're a coach and you're just starting out, you could literally set this up. You could even have little small cones as your goals, okay? So you don't need to have big expensive goals. Now ideally, in an ideal situation, it would be good to have some goals, because obviously it's going to stop the balls from running off on you. But this is a great way, and I'll explain this a little bit further down the line, but how you can do this with 3 players, and it's a great way to work with 3 players so everyone's working at once. But if we look at this in isolation and we're working with this one particular player who's in that circle, okay, so the first thing we're looking for, and you'll notice when I was speaking, was that we're looking for players. The first teaching in this one is to scan. Now if you watch the video back, you'll actually see the coach coaching them, actually doesn't enforce him to scan before he actually receives the first ball. So the first ball in that come into him, he doesn't scan before the ball comes in. So this is the first mistake that my coach on this video actually made, which is okay, everyone makes mistakes. But you need to ensure that they scan before they receive. Okay, and that's for every single pass. Then once they've scanned and they receive, they should be playing the ball back to the coach on one touch. Now, if you're working with a 7, 8, 9-year-old who's never played soccer or football before, we're okay here to play this on 2 touches or 3 touches. So this is a way that you can scale it up or down depending on the level of the player you work with. But if you're working with an advanced player, you would want them to do it on 1 touch. Then they've scanned, they've received the ball, they've played the ball back. Now they make a movement back themselves, the players. So they're moving into this zone. Before they move, they should scan again. Okay? Then once they move back, then they're receiving the ball. Now, there's a couple of ways we can do this. Once they receive the ball in this section here, you can change this around. You can do this on 2 touch. You could do this on 1 touch, finish first time. There's a couple of ways. You could see in the exact video that we showed you, the coach is encouraging the player to move this way, but then they quickly make a move this way to then strike the ball into the goal. So once they get to that bottom section, they can move it around. Now, what you can add in as well, which wasn't included, and this is what I would encourage, is if you're thinking about things like movements on and off the ball, we would expect players, once they've played the ball, we want our team or players to look for a new space, okay? So my encouragement would be, I would give this one, and this is where you can make it really fun. Now, a lot of times with the older players, they would just want you to call this goal 1 and goal 2. And as they shoot that ball into, say, this goal, the minute they shoot the ball, the coach can communicate goal 1 or goal 2. Now, my advice would be, if you've got a really young player, all the way up to probably like 11, 12, 13 maybe, ask them who the favourite football team is. And if they say the favourite football team is Barcelona, you can tell them that this is the Nou Camp, which is Barcelona's stadium. And then, who are Barcelona's biggest rivals? You might say, as an example, you could say it's Liverpool. And then you'd say, okay, this one is going to be Anfield. And then what they've got to do is, once they've had that shot at the goal, if you call out Anfield, okay, or you call out Nou Camp, that player has then got to make it through that goal. So if we say it was Anfield, they've then got to sprint and get through that goal as quick as they can. So this is a great way on how you can work on 1 touch, scan and move. Now, to finish off, I did promise as well, we would have a little look at one final thing. If you've got 2 or 3 players, what you could do is, if you don't have the goals, you can get your players to rotate. So you could have a player here and a player there, and they're actually receiving the ball when the player shoots the ball from this position here. And what happens is, when they receive the ball, they feed it back to the coach. So if the shot goes in there, this player would then just drive the ball back to the coach, and then the players rotate. So the player that's then sprinted through the goal here. So if imagine this player's sprinted through here, that player would then go there, then this player would then go here, and we'd have a rotation through, okay? So that's a great way if you're working with 2 or 3 players and you don't have expensive goals, or even if you do have the big goals but you've got 3 or 2 players in your private session, you can actually split up some of the players. So that is one touch, scan and move. I hope you enjoyed that little mini session, and I think you've realised that even from a small session that you're working one-on-one with a player, or whether you've got 2 or 3 in small groups, you've just seen the level of detail that you can go into, because we're talking about scanning, receiving, passing, 1-touch football, 2 and 3 touch if needed, and then also we've added in the ability to change direction, and also working on the physical side, we looked at things like speed. So remember, on any of my sessions when you see them, we always try and approach what we call the 4-corner model. And on that 4-corner model, we need to ensure, okay, do we get tactical, physical, do we get technical, and is there any social elements in there? And that's what we should be looking for in most of our sessions. So first thing, is there anything physical in there? Well, there's movements backwards and the sprints in between the cones, so we got that one. Is there anything technical in there? Well, there is. We're looking at things like receiving the ball, sending the ball, scanning over your shoulder. That is all technical. Social, so we're looking at things like communication. One of the big things that we didn't really touch on, but if you're working with more advanced players, we are definitely looking for them to be communicating and asking for the ball, but also not just asking for the ball, but visually asking for the ball by showing a hand signal and moving around. So that's another great one. And tactical, is there any tactics in there? 100%, especially when we've got to 2 and 3 players and we're looking for rotations. So that's a great way if you want to really challenge your players, whether they are younger or older. This is a great way if you've got a group of 14 or 16 players in a squad. You could set up 3 or 4 of these stations, and don't forget the coaches could be replaced by the players, so you don't always need to be standing where the coaches currently stood in our session here. This particular player could be this particular person could be a player as well. So there's no reason why you couldn't do this on a multi-level, okay? So is tactics involved? 100%. I really appreciate you tuning in to my videos and learning more about the amazing world of football and soccer. If you're serious about your game and about going to the next level, no matter where you're at, whether you're a beginner player or you're an advanced player, please subscribe and follow me at The Raymond Wood, and I'm on Instagram, TikTok and YouTube. And again, as ever, don't hesitate to drop me a question in my comments, and please make sure you subscribe to all of my channels. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, but it allows us to keep this amazing content flowing. Good luck with your football.